All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a really powerful idea. What does it actually mean to leading this complex world we live in? We're going to break down some of those old, outdated myths about leadership to find a way that's more meaningful, more human, and, just flat out more effective. So let's get into it.
So let's just start with this question right here. For the longest time, we've had this idea that a leader is the person with all the answers, right? The smartest person in the room. But what if real power isn't in knowing everything? What if it's in asking the right questions? This idea, it's at the heart of everything we're about to talk about.
Okay, so to really get where we're going, we first have to understand where we've all been. And that journey starts by tackling the biggest leadership myth of them all, the leader as the hero.
This quote probably rings a bell, right? So many of us grew up with this exact picture in our heads, the brilliant, strategic leader who just never gets it wrong. Dr. Ganduri's work points out how we were basically trained to see leadership as this mix of raw intelligence, power, and, being almost godlike. It's a cool idea, sure, but as we're about to see, it's also deeply flawed.
Because here's the thing. When you put a leader up on a pedestal like that, you automatically create a massive gap. This hero model, it doesn't just isolate the leader. It cuts them off from what's really happening with their team. And when only one person is supposed to have all the answers, well, that just squashes the collective genius of the entire group. In a world that runs on collaboration, that old model, it's just broken. So if the pedestal is broken, where do we go from here? Well, we move from the pedestal to presence. And this is a huge, fundamental shift in how we think about leadership. And you can really see the difference side by side here. Instead of standing up on some pedestal, a leader is present with their team. Instead of pretending to have all the answers, they're focused on asking better questions. The goal isn't control anymore, it's contribution. It's this simple but totally profound idea. Stop trying to be the hero of the story and start creating a story where everyone on your team can be a hero.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? How do you make that switch? Well, the answer is in this framework called the 5 Clarities. This is the real practical playbook for purposeful leadership.
The whole framework is built on these 5 interconnected pillars. You've got authenticity, purpose, role awareness, service, and values. And when you put them all together, they create this really powerful and complete model for leading. So let's break them down one by one, starting with authenticity. First up, clarity of authenticity. This is all about dropping that mask. The one that says you have to be perfect and have it all figured out. When you show up as your whole human self, mistakes and all, you create a safe space. You basically give everyone on your team permission to be human too. And that's where the real trust and creativity starts to happen. Next, we have clarity of purpose. This is the big why. It's about connecting the everyday work to something that actually matters, not just hitting some performance metric. A purposeful leader anchors everything in meaning, because the goal isn't just to get people to perform. It's to create an environment where they can genuinely thrive. I love this shift in mindset. You're not the sole architect trying to design and build everything yourself. No, you're an intentional guide. Leadership becomes this dance of influence and humility. You're guiding and you're influencing, for sure, but you're also listening, you're learning, and you're adapting with the team. Then we have clarity of service. And this is the direct cure for that hero myth we talked about. It's about making a conscious choice to put the team's success ahead of your own ego. Your job isn't to build a pedestal for yourself to stand on, it's to build a platform that your whole team can use to launch themselves higher. It's all about elevating others, not dominating them. And finally, the glue that holds all of this together, clarity of values. This is your compass. It's your North Star. It's knowing exactly what you stand for and then acting on those principles, especially when things get tough. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, your legacy as a leader won't be about the awards or the praise. It'll be about the values you lived by. So we have these 5 really powerful clarities. But how do you bring them all together into something you can actually carry with you, something you can use? Well, let's try and distill this whole philosophy down into one single powerful mantra. The mantra goes like this: I lead not by answers, but awareness.
authentic in presence, anchored in purpose, humble in role, generous in service, and principled in values. You can literally hear how each of those 5 clarities we just talked about is woven right into that statement. It becomes a really powerful personal mission. Now, that's a pretty fantastic mantra, but the source material for this explainer pushes us just a little bit further. It asks a great question. Can we make this even more declarative? Can we turn it from something we do into something we are? And that brings us to the ultimate aspirational mantra. I am a purposeful leader, clear in who I am, why I serve, how I show up, and what I stand for. Do you feel that shift? It's subtle, but it's profound. It's no longer just about what you do. It's about who you are. This takes those 5 clarities and turns them from a simple framework into your core identity, a clear guide for every single decision you make. So, as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this one last question. We've torn down the old myth of the hero leader, and we've built up this new model based on presence, on purpose, and on service. So now it's your turn. Looking at your own life, your own career, which leadership myth are you ready to rewrite?